Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
And I am turning off my 6 o'clock alarm on my phone. I'm gonna do this for 40 keys, baby.
Oh, he dragging.
Evolution in the building.
There we go.
Somebody tired. Hey, we got Keyshawn's head cut off just a little bit. Can we get some adjustment over here real quick?
We can adjust, right?
Yep.
He adjusted his head. That's what he did.
Yeah. All right, I got it. So, bam. All right, there we go. So, we got a great show lined up for everybody. Spin, what's up? D, what up? Tommy, what up? Lynn, what's good? Thomas, what's up?
I roll, what's up?
Yeah, that's Columbus.
I roll, what's up?
Yeah.
Sweat, my guy.
Why I ain't see you in the chat in a minute,
No,
bro? How
my
you
guy.
been? Yeah. All right. So, I mean,
Where you want to start? Because I'm gonna be quiet today. I'm not gonna ruin my streak of being positive. I'm gonna be quiet today.
You know what? Let's start on the fans. Let's start on the fans because I heard 3 different times today on the morning show, fans talking about trading a certain player that we just signed to a contract for Trey Hendrickson, right? There's a lot of people saying, well, you know, if you could just package a deal with Greg Rousseau and, you know, maybe Ed Oliver and ship those guys for Hendrickson, you know, you might be able to make that work.
Oh, you're trying to tee me off already. Because see, this is where I was gonna go. I was gonna start the show by being kind of sarcastic. 38-0.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm freaking done with this team, man. The season's over. No, it's not. But what pisses me off is stuff like that when you're talking about the youth that we have. You're talking about, we're doing it again. Not us.
Yeah.
Definitely not me, because I've been saying this how many times? Let the rookies play. Let them learn.
Mm-hmm.
Rousseau is young. Why do we keep wanting these old? You want Justin Simmons, right? Everybody wants Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is who's coming off the field.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Now you're talking about Justin Simmons and Taylor Rapp. He ain't coming off the field.
Right.
They're not. So what I'm saying is, who is our best safety right now? Right now it's Jordan Hancock.
Yeah.
So is Justin Simmons going to get him on the field? No. So why do we keep doing this?
Yeah. Why
do we keep doing this? It's like as a fan base, you love the team. You talk about people but you want to trade away everybody. You want to get rid of everybody. You want to seat everybody. You want to put all these old heads on the team.
Mm-hmm. I'm
so tired of that. It's like it's just ridiculous.
Well, so coming from an entrepreneurial field, right? And I've had one business that did okay and then kind of fizzled out because of COVID, and now the Reese Tea that I'm a part of is like booming. Like I said, they're about to be in 70 top stores and I think like over 10 Delta Sonic stores, right? Mm-hmm. So I've seen what it looks like to have the success and the failure. But the one thing that I've learned about being in this city of Buffalo is people expect you to not make any noise at all until you're already nationally established or at least regionally established, right? And if you do make noise and they find out you're just local, most times they don't have the kind of respect for you that they would, if somebody, visited here from another big city and, showed you any kind of documentation that they were big in that big city. You know what I'm saying?
That's been my thing the whole time when I talk about Shakir, when I talk about Cook.
Yeah.
Everybody wants them but us. Everybody
right.
sees what they are but us. So it's like, okay, like you said, if you got them outside looking in. We always want everybody that other teams have. When are we gonna grow somebody that other teams want? We have them. But and to Sweat's point, just cut Hamlin. Why? He's the 64th highest paid safety in the league. He's a backup player and he's playing out of position again. Yes, he played bad yesterday. Probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen of him. And that's fine. But I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of we're doomed because we had our starters playing, our backups playing against their starters.
Yeah.
What I am going to jump on is some fundamental, and McDermott had a couple of things to say I caught, and I don't know if you listened to his press conference last night, but
not all of it.
It was only like 6 minutes, I think, but he said some things, and I'm going to touch on a little later that I'm like,
okay. Well, there's one thing he said that I heard on the morning show this morning that I want to touch on.
Let it be it. Okay, you're gonna do it later, I guess.
Yeah, I'll do it later. So this was my thought on the whole Rousseau Hendrickson trade thing, right? And then I'll kind of talk about how that relates to the game. Okay, so the suggestion of trading Rousseau to begin with, the reason I had an issue with that wasn't even because of the cap implications, which would be monstrous, right? So the reason I had an issue with this, though, is because people made such a big deal about the pressures and about, not wanting to let him go and wanting to keep a homegrown player here and all these different feel-good reasons to sign that player. And literally less than a month of having that contract done, well, no, probably less than 2 months, I'll say. Less than 2 months of having that contract done, they're ready to trade him for Trey Hendrickson. Which is it? Either you want that specific guy here because you think he's the reason you're going to win games, or you don't. You're ready to trade him away for somebody that you believe is going to help you win games. And I think this is a prime example of a microcosm, if you will, of the biggest problem that we have as Bills fans, which is we want the feel-good stories and the success at the same time. And you cannot have both.
Well, you're going to like when I say this.
Okay.
I don't agree, only because your guy is 17. See, this is the thing that got me last night.
Okay.
And I don't know how many times they kept saying it as we were getting dog walked up and down the field. The depth of this team is just, even without Josh Allen, this is a great built team. Is it? You gave up 200 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah.
First quarter.
That's hard.
You gave up 20 points in the first quarter? 200 yards. And at the same time, it was 194. If people want to fact check me, I know. But even still, I watched the game twice too. I did. And
you're a beast.
I'm going to watch the all 22 too, because I was mad I couldn't do it for this show. I felt like it was an injustice. There's a lot of stuff I liked about the game, but there's a lot of stuff I didn't like about the game.
What did you like about it?
I liked the fact that Landon Jackson did what I told you he needed to do, to play almost the whole game.
Okay.
I like that.
Right. Yeah.
I like the fact that we had the two interior guys and they're playing majority of the game too. They didn't give McDermott what he wanted. That's why they had to play. I'm pretty sure he thought they sucked. Because they were only supposed to play like the first half, but they played a lot. They played a lot.
Yeah.
What else did I like? I liked that we got to see our backups against starters. So that tells you how good your backups really are, and they're not good at all.
Yeah.
That's what that tells you. I liked what it exposed. It exposed, a lot of the misconceptions that Cook and Shakir and Rousseau and Benford and Allen all sweep under the rug. See, when people say that I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And Spin says the safety is like in one tech position. The Bills refuse to bring in a free safety and play safe and strong safety as a free safety.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why do we put him in a single high and say, yeah, he sucks? Yes.
And the guys is this, because people who know football will tell you, and I've said this before too, teams are moving away from the free safety, strong safety designations, right? They really want interchangeable pieces. And the reason that that's so desirable is so that you can disguise. Now, what's funny about this is the Bills kind of led the league in that when they had Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer here, because both of those guys were very interchangeable when they first got here. So they could do a lot of different disguises pre-snap and then move to whatever they needed to move to after the snap to fool the quarterback. And it worked a lot. I mean, the Bills had a #1 defense in the league when they had those two guys playing safety. So I get the concept. But I think, again, this is another one of those examples of the Bills trying to do something that is conceptually right, but with their spin on it that makes it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it, you need to have hybrid safeties.
Yes, exactly.
And you bring in, people talk about Simmons again, and Simmons is another box safety. How many of those do we have? We are talking about our best rangy hybrid safeties. Both are nickel corners in Hancock and Cam Lewis. Cam Lewis came in last week, and he was a night and day difference between him and Hamlin. Night and day difference between him and Hamlin. You know, you could see him making plays. You could see him reading the play. You could see him in the right position, even if he didn't make the play. Right. You know, he impacted the play. Hancock, the same thing. So, you know, when I say I saw good things, some good things are bad things. And McDermott said in his presser, he said, we got to look at what we got and who we need. What does that mean? And that and my ears perked up, because you know who's number one on my ish list. Who's number one, and it's not because he's doing a horrible job. It's just that he's not as good as people say he is. Mr. Bean. I don't care. You know, I listened to people talk about how great he's doing this, that, and third. He's just. But let me ask you this: what is the role of a GM? What do GMs do?
They are responsible for running the scouting department, the player personnel department.
Financial oversight. So they do contract negotiations. They do salary cap management. They do scouting of college, football operations, coach collaboration, align the roster decisions with coaching scheme and philosophy. Right. They do mid-season adjustments. Right. Let's see, what else do they do? They do public and league present representation. So they do a lot of press conferences, things like that. How much do you see Bean talking?
Not much.
Exactly. You see McDermott talking leadership and vision, cultural architect. Who did that? The cultural architect is
Sean.
Yes. Okay. Long-term planning. Who does that?
Long-term planning?
Yeah.
Sean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who hires and fires people?
Sean.
Yeah. See where this is going? Okay. So on the other side, so Sean is not, he's not the Lynn, I have no idea. That's part of the problem. I'm not going stay with me here.
You opened that wire.
Stay with me now. I have no idea. But see, that's the quandary we're in right now.
Yeah.
Lynn, that's what I'm saying right now. What is our philosophy? We don't have one. It's 17, 4, 10, and 50 and 47.
Yeah. Really, at the end of the day, it's just 17. All the ancillary pieces mean nothing if 17 ain't here.
Well, that's true, but you want to put 17 with Elijah Moore dropping passes, Zach Davison penalties all over the place, a line that can't block. He needs other things. He's good,
right?
But he can't do everything by himself.
But
so
I think so. This is what we have to be careful to keep in mind. I'm talking about me and you. Is the argument against anything we say is always going to be they drafted Josh Allen. I'm
getting to that.
Right.
I got a whole dossier here.
Okay.
Now what I'm saying in this regard is, does anybody mention Terry Gray? What's his job? Don't know, huh?
No.
Yeah, because Terry Gray is the director of scouting, pro personnel scouting director. Terry Gray is the one that advocated for Josh Allen in 2018.
Oh, really? Terry
Gray is the one that said Khalil Shakir is a must. Terry Gray is the one that said we have to have Spencer Brown. Terry Gray is that guy. Terry Gray is the one that goes out there and scouted Jordan Hancock. Remember in the embedded when he was at the Ohio State pro day, and they didn't show you who he was talking about. He's like, that guy's a beast. He said that guy's a leader. That guy's a workout warrior. He's a beast. It was Hancock.
Wow.
At his pro day, he said that's the guy right there. So on the flip side, Bean is the money man, right? He's the guy. Wrong.
No, he's not. That's right.
Jim Overdorf. You know, he's been here since the 80s. You know what he did at one point? I didn't notice. I did research. He actually was the GM at one point in time. Overdorf,
really?
Yeah. Overdorf was a GM when I think between Polian and whoever was after that. Let's see.
This would have been between Polian and
I have it here. Let me just see if I can pull it up real fast because I got emotional there. Okay, Jim Overdorf.
I don't remember anybody before Buddy Nix.
So he was in the early 2000s. He was the lead negotiator. You know what his claim to fame is?
What?
Matter of fact, let me go back to Terrence Gray.
Okay.
Terrence Gray, you know what else he's known for? He's known for turning down GM jobs. Turned down GM jobs, the Raiders, the Patriots, all these GM jobs. He's sought after.
Wow.
He's known in the circles. So let's give him some credit.
Because he wants to do that here, probably.
Because he wants to be here.
Wow.
He actually went to the exec acceleration program. Jim Overdorf, what did he do? Jim Overdorf in the early 2000s was a lead negotiator. He managed contracts. You know what else he did? He learned from Ralph Wilson about fiscal discipline. He influenced Russ Brenner's operational trust. He has a rapport with league agents. Why does your SVP have a rapport with league agents? Because he negotiates with them.
Right.
He does the contracts. He maintains the cap flexibility that we all laud. The cap discipline that Bean does. Guess what? He provides continuity through the ownership changes. He's been here since the 80s. How many different coaches he had? How many GMs? He was a GM. How many different transactions? He's negotiated hundreds of contracts. Hundreds.
Right.
Now, we got to give Bean his flowers because Bean does come in here and he has a purpose. He's the overseer of all this. But when people talk about Doug Whaley, they say he's trash. But when me and Tommy were talking about this is funny because let's see, Spence said has to be a lie. No one wants to be here.
No, I started because I did want to. I wanted to respond to that. But I don't think we're saying that Terry Gray wants to be here with McDermott. I think he wants to be here as the Bills GM. However that comes, if it's with McDermott here or not, he wants to be here as the Bills GM. But I mean, ideally, I imagine he would want to be here without Sean McDermott as the head coach.
Yeah, and I think he would want to be here without Bean. I think he would want to be the GM here.
Yeah.
But Tommy said we're never going to agree. We know that. But my point is, when I watched Tommy's show, and they're like, I'm like, say it. He's like not saying anything that we talked about. Like he did, but he missed some points when his coach was like, what does he want? I'm not asking for him to be perfect.
Right.
I'm not asking for him to nail every draft. I'm just asking for him to be real. Yeah. I'm asking for this for the facade to happen on the radio, for this. I'm not even asking anything of him. I want the perception of him to be correct. And I want his ancillary pieces to get their shine because without them, there's no him. And the same thing that they defend Brandon Bean for, because what do they say? Well, he's only drafting what? He's only drafting what his coach wants, right? He's getting what his coach wants. His coach hired him.
Mm-hmm.
The GM's job is to hire coaches, right?
Yeah.
But he hasn't hired anybody. He's not firing anybody. He's doing. Doug Whaley never got to hire a coach. He had 3 coaches in his tenure, right? He had Marone, followed by Rex, and then McDermott got fired him.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those guys was anywhere near similar? Their philosophy, nowhere near similar.
Yeah.
But what did he do? He said, "Okay, you want this? I'm going to give you this." The same thing Bean did, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want that? I got to get it for you. And right, the GM's job is to hire his coaches. His coach's job is to hire the rest of the coaches, right? And he didn't hire anybody. But my thing is this: if you're gonna poo-poo Doug Whaley for doing this thing that never synced up, he said, "Okay, Rex, I'm giving you your player you want." And as soon as he does that, guess what? The scheme changes because now McDermott is in there, or after Marone, now Rex is in there. How's it supposed to work? His claim to fame was trying to be, splashy. I gotta get you Sammy Watkins. I gotta get you, these guys over here.
Yeah.
And that's his downfall. Was he good? No. But my point is, when we're talking about the difference of GMs, and we like this guy, we don't like that guy. Let's be real. What's the big difference? I don't see it.
Real quick, before we lose to a side here, he says, curious if either of you have been in the meetings with Pegula, Bean, and McDermott. That's the only way anyone would know how an operation works. So to be clear, we're not saying we know everything about how the operation works, but we know enough due to me having people that have either worked in the building or still currently work in the building, as well as connections to certain players on the team. So I get bits of information here and there. On top of that, I've also read all 28,000 words of the Tyler Dunn report, which details greatly how things work in the building and how Sean is perceived and how things kind of flow. So, I mean, we've done a lot of work to kind of understand, how Sean thinks, how Bean thinks, who's actually doing what, and this is what we're presenting. You can buy it or not. It's up to you.
Yeah, but thanks for showing up. I mean, that's what I'm always gonna say to you. And Tommy, he said, take Bean, put him on the Chiefs. Do you think he's drafting the same type of players that he drafts here? Why would he? I just told you he's going to give you he's going to give the head coach what he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, Veach does the same thing. Veach is their guy, right? He's their GM.
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Veach.
All he does is draft around Pat Mahomes. He says, we got Mahomes. Let's ride him to the wheels fall off. Here's your defense.
Right.
But that's what Andrew Reid said. I'm good with whatever you do. I got him. I know how to use him.
Yep.
So, I mean, the argument of saying take Bean over there and would he do the same thing? No, nobody would. Beach coming to Buffalo, he wouldn't draft the players he drafts over there.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. You know.
Boo, what up?
He said snitches. No, Boo, we're not on. We're not on. I'm not Tommy. He said, "How are you pointing it back to Bean?" What I'm saying is, Bean isn't this dude that everybody's making him a sage.
Yeah. So look, if we really want to get technical with it, Bean is a lot like the Eagles GM from the standpoint of there's a lot of guys around Howie Roseman that are not doing his job for them, but they're getting paid to do a certain job that allows him to just kind of oversee everything, right? And that's really what's going on here. So based on what we know and what you can easily find out, the Buffalo Bills hierarchy, according to what Terry Pegula said, is it's Sean's show, and Sean does all of the hiring and firing in the building, right? Below that, and the Bills want you to believe that they're neck and neck, but below that is Brandon Bean, who oversees the player personnel department, whether that's free agents, draft picks, other ancillary, jobs within, the front office. Bean oversees all of that. Bean is like middle management technically, right? And then after that, then you have the rest of the coaches and then the players. That's the hierarchy. Terry Pegula is more like a somebody that's on the board. He comes in, he comes in, he checks on what's going on. He's got the CEO telling him what's happening and how things are looking, and he trusts that, and he just keeps his hands off.
Right.
So all of this is kind of meant to point to, as far as value goes, you could really get away with removing Brandon Bean and the show would still run the same way. You would just have a different guy managing the whole thing. That's all it really comes down to. But Bean is the most qualified to take what Sean wants and apply that to the player personnel department.
That's his point.
That's his value.
That's his purpose.
Right. And sadly, that's his only value to the team. Aside from, the face he puts on for, answering questions and kind of being this cool, calm, collected guy, except for when he slams radio show hosts on their own show. But we can't look at the job being done by the player personnel department and say none of that would have happened without Brandon Bean. It's Sean's plan to begin with.
Right.
You could easily say none of this happens without Sean and be right.
Yep. And see, Roy says, so how do the other 31 teams GMs do their job without others around them? They don't. They have people around them.
Yeah.
Howie
Roseman, Brett Veach. I mean, those are just two examples of teams that win that their GM isn't the guy going out and doing all the scouting and stuff like that.
Let's see. Bean built the staff. Bless you. Bean built the staff. He has here correct.
Okay, here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to argue about your opinions of what you think Bean does or not. I mean, do your own research, but I don't want to spend the entire show just kind of going back and forth.
No, we going back to the game.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get to, because we still got a lot of stuff on that to get to. So, the entirety of the game for me came down to one major thing, and I want to be clear. This game is pure perspective at this point, right? Because if you really want to be objective, and we like doing that on this show, there's two arguments that stand out, right? The first argument is, boy, these guys look terrible on the field, right? The other argument to this, though, if you're coming from the other side of kind of defending what we saw, is if there was no game plan for these players, they could have easily been in a lot of bad calls against what the Bears were doing, which was game plan. They had a guy on the sideline taking notes and all that kind of stuff, which is usually what a team is doing when they're game planning.
Yeah.
Right. They're marking how well things, this part of the game plan went. Who executed this? Who did that? Like all of that goes into a very specific plan that the Bears have had since day one of the implementation of this new culture, this winning culture, this very disciplined team that Ben Johnson is trying to build, right? So that's why they're operating in the offseason the way that they are. They're trying to win these games. They're trying to establish a winning culture. So you could easily say that there might have been a time where, you know, a team is running, I don't know, they're running. In the Bears, I mean, the Bears could be running some type of, you know, West Coast style play, and the Bills are dropping back in cover 3, you know, which is more designed for air raid stuff, right? So if you find yourself in that type of situation and you're a safety that's out of position, that might not necessarily be on you.
Right.
That might be just because that was your responsibility on the call, which has nothing to do with any kind of game plan or trying to stop the other team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what we saw, and it was good medicine. I said it, Vaughn tribute. Anyway, this is why I like. No, it's not a bad bitch roast. It's actually not. I don't think it's gonna be a roast of me because I honestly enjoyed the game. I enjoyed what I saw because it told me a lot. I got a lot of data from it. Like I said, I have like 6 documents I worked on because of this game last night. If you don't notice, like when I'm in Discord, I'm not in Discord when we do a show. I'm not tweeting, I'm not doing anything because I'm getting everything together.
Yeah.
It literally, I'm trying to do my job while I got like all these, I got laptops, I got a tablet, I got my phone, and I'm just doing all this jotting crap research. And it's really a sad life, but whatever. You know, and what I learned yesterday is, you know, if can we not have Buffalo Joe anymore? Can it just be Joe Andreessen? Can we because everybody says had Hamlin not went through what he went through, he wouldn't be on a team. Buffalo Joe would always be on a team because Buffalo Joe is Buffalo. He represents Buffalo. But Joe Andreessen is just a player. Joe Andreessen is an NFL player that did not play well at all yesterday. I mean, and what keyed me to that was thinking about when you said the responsibilities and the depth he took. You know, I mean, how many times did Komet or the other guy, I forgot his name from University of Michigan. How many times did they catch the ball on the seam? Loveland on the seam, and all you see is his hand. He's jumping as high as he can because he's too shallow. You got to get deeper. You know, even if it's another 2 or 3 yards back.
Right.
And you can see everything happening behind him. He had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was Bulldog said on the radio earlier. Dang, that's tough.
What up, Matt? Says Buffalo Joe needs to find another city to put in front of his name because he sucks. And Hamlin's charity tour should be over, which should be well over with by now too.
I think, you know what? I think Buffalo Joe has potential to be a backup. I will say that. I think he has potential to get better and be a backup.
Let's just call him Lancaster Joe from now on.
Depew, Lancaster.
No, it's Lancaster.
Okay, because I think he went to Depew High School.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why I'm like, whatever.
He's from Lancaster.
Yeah,
that's what
he's
say.
all over the place. Or maybe it's Dolak. I don't know. They're all over the place. But anyway,
just hurry up and get Dolak here.
Yeah, they got to cut him over there. I don't think they're gonna cut him. He's over there doing things. They're showing him doing walk-ins today. So I know he's gonna make the team. When they show with the head with the beats on it, you got the suitcase, you're gonna make the team.
Yeah, he'll probably be there for a while.
But no, I mean, you know, when I'm watching this, I'm watching Trey Herndon was the only DB to force a pass breakup. Only
really?
One.
He just
only
got
one.
there too. Trey Herndon is actually a real corner. He's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, I know he's old now. He's like 32 or something like that. Yeah. But you know, if you're looking at this defense objectively, you're saying, okay, where are the playmakers? Who's batting down? Where did Couch play yesterday? I don't even think he played.
No, I don't remember him
playing. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. If you watch the game 3, 4 more, 5 more times, you know, let me know. But you know, I was like, okay, who are our playmakers? You know, they were really trying to force feed Buffalo Joe. They were trying to force feed Dorian Williams. They were trying to force feed Dorian Strong. Oh, Couch is hurt. Okay. Yep. They were trying to force feed. Oh, yeah, he got hurt last game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, you know, you're trying to force feed Dorian Strong, who looked bad again. And these are your rookies. You know, where's Hairston? Now I'm gonna talk about your boy. Talk about Trey Amos. Talk about Will Johnson's. Talking about the things we could have had. The things we could have done, you know, but I just watched the defense and this is McDermott's defense all over again. Soft coverage, you know, no pass rush. Again, we're talking about the defensive tackles in the game, but they did nothing. They were a step slow. How long did it take Dwayne Carter to get into the end zone when he scooped that ball up? When he hit the scoop it, I think he was walking.
That was top speed for him, man.
And he was on the sideline like
and it meant nothing.
Right. He's like, But I mean, I was just sitting there like, okay, this is where so Ed Oliver. This tells you what Ed Oliver is about. This tells you what Daquan Jones is about. This tells you what Rousseau is about. This tells you what they're all about. And then the depth.
Yeah.
The depth behind him is that. So that was good to know. But the thing is, now you're talking about with James Cook extension, you got $1 million under the cap. But that's just right now.
Yeah.
You can't change and do all these things. You know, Frank Gore was looking good yesterday. Is he going to make the team?
No.
He was their best offensive player.
I mean, look, sadly, I don't imagine a world where Shavers is going to make this team either. And I hate saying that. I hate that it comes off of my tongue. But I think at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And right now, Elijah Moore is making $5 million this season. He's still got $2.5 million on the books.
Yeah, I think not Shout. Oh God, what's the show with Dan Fates and Buffalo up, whatever. Anyway, y'all watch the show, y'all know it. But he said, he pointed out OJ Howard.
Yeah.
They said thanks but no thanks. That was $3 million they just ate.
Yeah.
And
you think they would do that? Just eat $5 million?
They
have nothing.
They don't, but they might because they have to, because they're not going to get rid of the Samuels. I mean, and people, this is when I wrote my notes too. Everybody's talking about Shavers. Shavers is showing he looks good.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're not talking about somebody else that I really want to talk about.
Who?
Wilkerson. Wilkerson has not been talked about, and that guy has shown you why he could make this team. To me, he's shifty. Davison, he raced two of his big plays. That one-handed grab last week. I mean, another 3 inches inside. That's a catch. That's a highlight reel.
But how's his blocking though?
I know. I don't know. Not as good as Luther Burden's, I'll tell you that.
No, definitely not as good as Luther Burden's.
He got DeMar Hamlin, and he got who else?
Hancock.
Hancock.
Yeah, he spun Hancock around. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he got him good.
This dude's nuts. Yeah, Buffalo Plus. That's who it is. Are the biggest casuals out there. I mean, yeah. But I mean, it was still a good point though, to it. Jesus, Mary and JoJo.
Yeah. No, let me touch on this point here real quick from Steve. He says it was exposure of athletic talent. Scheme will cover it up in the regular season against most teams. Yet once an elite roster faces this team, elite removes the scheme and the Bills' lack is revealed. That to me was the thing I was pissed off of most about, right? Because Sean said specifically last week that they're not game planning, right? And when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, smart, because at that point it's more about athletic ability, talent, all that kind of stuff. That really puts everything at a very even ground for us, for our players, competing for spots. That's a great way to do it. I applaud that, right? But I think, as Steve said, in this game, it just made it very tough to stomach what we've put on the field to begin with. Right now, again, some of this can be water poured on a flame by saying that because we weren't game planning, there could have been a lot of instances in this game where the wrong play call was called a lot, because we just were calling anything on defense. And then offensively, everybody is a backup playing at that point. And, Mike White, I think, has gotten a lot of reps, second team last game. And I thought it was first team when I saw him on the field, but then I'm like, there's no starters on the field with this guy. So timing is going to be off, all that stuff. And that's what we saw. It looked sloppy because there was no game plan offensively or defensively. So I think looking at the talent itself is really the only way we can judge this game. If we're going to be fair about it. Right. And I think if we're left with that, it has to be obvious. If the Bears, think of all the teams that we can go against right now that we would play them in the regular season and we would just know we're going to beat that team. No big deal. The Bears are one of them, right? Easily. But in this game, our backups versus their backups, we got destroyed.
But this is, I like this point, what you said, and I like the contrast of the coaches for your point.
Okay.
Because they said it at the end of the game. I don't know if you heard it. I don't even know if you stayed to the end of the game.
Nah, not the very end.
You should have. Because I forget who it was. It might have been Greg. He was like, they're going to try to put up 40 on them in a preseason game?
Yeah.
McDermott would never. McDermott was probably like, "What the hell's going on?" You know, and I mean, they showed Ben Johnson. He's sitting there with a clipboard. He's holding it, and he's like stone faced. You know, he's nodding somebody that's in third. He's like, they're gonna really try to do this. They took a knee at the end, but you know, that's the killer mentality that we don't have.
Yeah. Sean definitely
doesn't have that.
No.
Now, I know, get back on your point, but I had to talk about it because it's on your thumbnail. It just made me laugh. This man challenged.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Yo.
That's the thought that I think we all had. Like, in all seriousness, what the you doing? What are you doing throwing that flag out there with 9:40 left in the fourth quarter and you're down by 31, bro?
And the announcer was like, yeah, just let the clock run out. And he ended up in the play, like, wait, he's challenging that?
Bro.
Why? They're like, why?
That is strictly a principle thing. Like, that is, I need to show this team I'm very serious about doing the right thing.
And then he lost it.
Right, bro. So not only did you stand on laurels and look stupid, but you lost the challenge, bro. Yo, if you won that, okay, fine, you standing on business. But you lost the challenge, bro.
Their fans were booing us. They were like, I was like,
yes, bro. Yes.
It was
the most ridiculous thing I think I could have ever seen in a preseason game is challenging anything when you're losing by 31 points in the fourth quarter.
It was a momentum change.
Yeah.
It was.
They scored again after that. They scored right after that, bro. The running back ran for like 11 yards and scored a touchdown, like literally right after that.
The man scored 2 touchdowns from HBCU. A minor school and scored 2 touchdowns again. That's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I was like, and they booed. Like, I was sitting there like, what happened? Why? And yeah, he was. And then when they explained to him why he lost, he was like, it was
right.
He was like he's mad about the announcer. Like he's really mad about this. You can see he's like trying to figure out. I was like, wow. I mean,
you know what this is? You know what this is? And Steve's point just reminded me of it. It said, what would happen if Philly's backups played Bills starters? No game plan for either. Bills have to use backup QB just like Philly. Who wins?
Oh, yeah. Steve's not in the Discord. I forgot because on Saturday before I fell asleep, I turned on the Eagles game. I think it was Dorothy, and I might have been talking to Laura and you know, the usuals. And
yeah,
Andrew Makuba has a pick 6 and a fumble forced. And I went 8-ish.
I remember seeing that.
So what the are we looking at? Tell me safeties don't matter. Forget it. I was going off. I couldn't believe it. I was like being irrational. I was so mad.
No, but like, so do you remember during the drought when the Bills had a chance to make the playoffs? All they had to do was beat the Steelers backups.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like that.
Yep.
It felt like you were just in this twilight zone of we just can't catch a break in moments. And this is the part that I think frustrated me the most. This was a nationally televised preseason game. And here you have your head coach. I think this is why the challenge stuck out so much to me. This is why it stuck out so much to me. It's a nationally televised game. Your head coach is basically saying it the whole time. Screw it. We don't need a game plan. We're not even going to try to win. We don't give a damn.
That's illegal.
Right. So you go the whole game not giving a damn if you scored a point or not. And then you get to 9:40 in the... Bro. You get to 9:40 in the fourth quarter. And you decide then, no. It stops here. The buck stops here. We are challenging that. You Bears are not getting away with that bull. I'm challenging. You went the whole game not giving, and now all of a sudden, you care. Now all of a sudden, you want an explanation for some stuff. Like, this is the part. How does this make sense at all, bro? At all.
I need to start watching the game with you.
Speaking of that, we got to do some watch party stuff. There's a there's a network that pays people to do that stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No,
so.
we need to go in there.
Yeah, do some game watching because this is how I be. This how like during the game I just be sitting. And you know because I'm watching it with my wife and I don't want to stress her out. I just be sitting there quiet like this. To some these mother. Can't believe this. But I mean, look, I digress. I think that contradiction is something that has bothered me the entire time that Sean has been here. It's and I think it rolls in line with something that you've been very, strong on saying, and I applaud it because I keep forgetting to bring it up, which is, what the hell is your identity? If you don't have a clear line of demarcation between care and not care in any particular instance, if you're going into this nationally televised preseason game saying, we played you guys in a scrimmage just a day ago or 2 days ago, we don't care what happens in this game, then stick with that.
Right.
Be consistent the way you said on Hard Knocks that you try to be for this team. The best thing I can do for you guys is be consistent. He said that, right? This was the most inconsistent thing you could do, was to go the whole game not caring and then decide with 9:40 left you care.
Yeah, what is Wu talking about? We don't care they beat us. I don't care. He said last year they beat us 33-6 in the preseason.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
Right. No. Okay. So to be clear, we're not freaking out because they lost a preseason game.
Right.
I think what we're getting pissed off about is what it says about the mindset of our head coach and what it says about the state of our team if something ever happened to our quarterback.
I'm just laughing at your freak out over
bro. That's why I made a thumbnail, because it drove me nuts that much, bro. Like, I just couldn't understand it.
Bro, you sit there watching the game. I'm watching the game like this. I'm taking notes. Dude, yesterday was the hardest thing. I was trying to write in the Discord while taking notes. While I'm like, should I copy and paste? No, I can't copy and paste. I can't watch. I gotta rewind. I was in shambles last night. I just had to give it up. I just had to stick with one thing and stay with one thing only. Relax, McDermott is practicing how to throw the challenge flag. You're right. He's like, do I do a sidearm, 3/4? Do I come over the top?
Hopefully that's what Spin trying to say. Airmen don't get that the challenge wasn't about trying to win or even stop the Bears on that drive. It was about the challenge process. So all of this nationally televised preseason game was just working out the kinks for what network was that? Fox. That's the okay, guys. We got to get. Who's the guy? Mike Pereira or whatever?
Yeah.
We got to get to Mike Pereira one good time. Well, let's talk to him one good time. He puts his best Miami Vice suit on and then leaves right after that. And then, all right, we got to get a challenge in there. Hey, Sean, this might be a good opportunity. Like, there's a buzzer that they have on Sean's thing.
Just do it now.
Just do it now.
Yep. And
then what we need you to do is ask for an explanation after that.
Yeah, when it's clear that it was a backwards pass and he picked it up and ran it, and now they got to put zoom in on Sean McDermott because he's like mad at the ref in the game where the ref's halfway even paying attention. He's like, well, I can do that, I guess. Because it's funny because that's one of those deals where I was watching, was it on Instagram maybe, where it was like the greatest play known to man. Evidently, it was a double punt. I guess it got blocked or whatever. He picked it up and punted it again. And the announcers were talking about how you can't do that. That's illegal, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after like a 10-minute intervention of refs trying to figure this out, they said there's nothing in the rule book that says you can't. So it's a legal play. He's like,
right.
What? Same thing last night. The guy like rugby dribbled it to himself and then took off.
Nothing in the book.
In the handbook, so you can't rugby dribble. Nothing there.
Yep. What's going on, Callie?
Yeah, and let's see, 50 people watching. Hit that. Yeah, I mean, hey, we got 72. Hit that like button.
Hey, thank you, Alton. Appreciate that. Got to get my man here. That's our horn.
Yeah. That's our horn.
Right. Yeah. Snarl says, I don't know if they got enough talent to overcome questionable play calling glitches that pop up in tight games. Here's the thing. I think offensively we do. And the thing that I think is most frustrating about the coaching that we have offensively is, forgive me, because I am about to say this.
Uh-oh.
Look at what we have on offense. We have James Cook, Josh Allen, and a bunch of guys, right? And when I say guys, they can be B+ level all the way down to D-. However you want to rank certain guys is up to you. But I think everybody can agree that the two best players on offense our running back and our quarterback.
Mhm.
And those guys are the only playmakers that we've seen make plays in the playoffs.
Right.
Nobody can debate that, right? So what my point in saying all that is, if you don't have much on offense and your offensive coordinator is still in the last 8 games putting up 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, and you get to the playoffs and now you're only scoring 24, 20, like you scored 30 in that AFC championship game, or no, you didn't, rather. I'm sorry. You scored 29 points. So if your average in the playoffs drops, first of all, that's to be expected. But at the same time, in those key moments, you actually need players to make these great play calls work. It's, again, like most things in life, winning a Super Bowl, having success in the league is a convergence of multiple things. It is not just a franchise quarterback. It is not just a good offensive coordinator. It is not just a good head coach that can make good crunch time decisions. It is not just players. You need a convergence of all of the above in order to have the kind of success that the Patriots had, that the Chiefs are having, that even the Eagles are having, right? I mean, I think what we tend to get caught up in, as a fan base is we oversimplify things, right? And the first oversimplification we got caught in was, this is a good team.
Mm-hmm.
That's an oversimplification, because at the end of the day, if you really break it down, the success of this team is on the back of Josh Allen. None of it happens without him. None of it, right? Once you get past that point, you then start to understand, okay, Sean is just as good as, I would say, 27 other defensive coordinators in the NFL right now. Because you're always, every year in and year out, you have about 4 defensive coordinators and 4 defenses in the league that are just like, you can't do anything against them, right? We know the Bengals have that, right? We know the Steelers have had that before. Who's another defense that was really good? The Broncos defense, right? Broncos defense, and then I think Houston Texans defense was pretty good, but it was I'll say they were pretty good. They were the best pass rushing team in
Browns?
Yeah, I did say Browns.
Okay.
So my point in bringing that part up is Sean McDermott, and this is kind of my next point that I wanted to get to regarding what we saw in this game.
Mm-hmm.
When you have your backups out there and they look like they look just based off talent, that tells me that your defensive coordinator or whoever your defensive guy is average. Because if you can't get those guys to perform well in a preseason game against backup opponents, then your scheme is just pretty good. It's not defensive guru like people like to say about Sean McDermott, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not in actual. And I know it sounds like a knock. Give me a second to kind of unpack this, okay? Sean McDermott's scheme is not solely reliant on players, but it's not independent of players either. Again, it needs a convergence of good to great players and good to great play calling or management of the scheme, right? In 2015, when that defense was very, very good, I think they were they were number 1 defense in the league, going up against the Broncos, the Broncos number 1 offense in the league, right? So having the number 1 defense in the league, but you had a Hall of Famer at linebacker, right? You had a multi all pro player in Thomas Davis right next to him. You had multiple great players all around him. Josh Norman was on that team, right? So not only was it a good scheme, but the players made it great. Go back to, I think it was 2021, the Bills had the number 1 overall defense. We had the best safety tandem in the league. And quite frankly, perhaps one of the best secondaries in the league at that point. And what did we have? Number 1 overall defense, right? So again, prime example of a convergence of different things. You got players with scheme, with good management, great defensive coordinator and Leslie Frazier at the time too. Let's not forget that. So I think we need to kind of take a step back from calling Sean a defensive guru and understand that him and his scheme are about average in the league. They're probably above average because they don't get destroyed by just anybody. They get destroyed by the best quarterbacks. Right. So they're probably above average. Sean is probably above average. His scheme is probably above average. But when you add great players to that, then it becomes the 2021 defense. Then it becomes that, oh my God, we destroying the league right now. The AFC East, the AFC can't do nothing with us, right? Then it takes the miracle performances from Patrick Mahomes. Then it takes the elite performances from a Joe Burrow to bring us down, right? I don't think this is a knock on Sean McDermott. I think this is who he always has been.
Yeah.
And again, back to my initial point of bringing all this up, it's an oversimplification of Sean McDermott is a great defensive guru. That's an oversimplification. You're not paying attention to the details. You're not doing the work.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the difference if you just look at Cam Lewis when he gets into the game. The safety changes. The look of the safety, the threat of the safety changes. You have to, like you said, you upgrade the players even slightly. Your cornerbacks. Our best defenses are predicated on the back seven, back five. They're always predicated on the back five. Taron Johnson locked in. People consider Cam Lewis one of the best nickel cornerbacks out there, backups rather, one of the best backup nickel cornerbacks. And he's playing safety. You got Jordan Hancock back there who looks like he might be about something. But you keep force feeding us this notion of Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop. Cole Bishop, once again, has looked like Cole Bishop. He does Cole Bishop things. It is what it is. How do you game plan around and go what Cole Bishop does? What does he do best? They haven't figured this out yet. And I think that's the kind of thing that McDermott's saying, we still got to figure out what we have and what we need. Because you need to put Cole Bishop, Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp all in the box. But what that means is you're susceptible to what you said they're trying to move towards.
Mm-hmm.
The split safety, a hybrid safety. We don't have but two of them. That's all we got, two of them, and they're both cornerbacks. So, you got to stop being stubborn. When they talked about, the front four, and they talked about how Javon Solomon was. Solomon's showing me nothing. He's really showing me nothing. I had high hopes for him, but he's not getting to the quarterback at all. Once again, Michael Hoyt is the best defensive lineman out there. Again, Joey Bosa, you could have saved that $12 million because he's not making that kind of an impact. And this is what people say, it's not a game plan. But when you say it's not a game plan, that's when you lost. Not your argument, but you lost because what did we just say?
Yeah.
When there's no game plan, this is who tells you what your athletes do.
Yep.
And if we have one sack for this preseason so far? One. Michael Hoyt.
No, you talking about this past game?
Did we have one in the first game?
We had one. He got one in this game.
He got one, but we didn't have any in the first game though. We didn't have a sack in the first game.
Hoyt didn't get one?
No, nobody got one in the first game.
Wow.
Hoyt got one yesterday.
Okay.
So we only have one sack for preseason. Yeah. And when you're talking about athletes mano a mano, you look at how who did the Giants play? The Eagles. And they knocked Abdul Carter on his butt. But that tells you what our athletes are about because he made us look crazy in the first game. And I'm pretty sure the Eagles didn't game plan for Abdul Carter. They said, you know what, we're going to run our game plan.
Yeah.
They mano a mano.
You see what their tight end did? Backup tight end
yes.
put him on his butt.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about.
That was crazy.
So like coming off the hype of Buffalo,
yeah.
You go there, I'm gonna do it again. No, you're not.
Nah.
Like a little giant, I'm gonna have you farting out of your mouth and talking out of your butt. And he did. So it's like, okay, and that's in Little Giants. In Little Giants. But no,
don't matter.
I was watching. Hey, go back to sleep. I was watching
Anyway,
I was watching what was I watching? I was thinking about Black Knight. Have you seen that movie with Martin Lawrence?
Oh, I don't remember much about it, but yeah.
There's one scene in that movie where I thought about McDermott. And I thought about, how he should be looking at the defense. It was when they had the banquet and they had, he was supposed to be doing this dance and like, what kind of music do you want? and they start playing this nonsense. He's trying to do this dance, but it looks like garbage. And the king is like, Skywalker, I'm growing impatient. And Martin turns to the bench like, y'all gonna get me killed. Y'all gonna get me killed. We got to do something. And that's how Bean and McDermott look at his defense, because his defense is the calling card. And their calling card looks like poo.
They're trying to make it that, but it hasn't been at all.
That's what I'm saying. But see, what we know is we've maxed out. We've maxed out the offense. The offense ain't gonna get no better. I mean, it could, but it probably won't. Because like Bean said,
the only way is if they add a top tier receiver. That's the only way.
Maybe because they have to use them too.
Yeah.
And everybody eats them, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay. So the offense is maxed out. We know what they are, but there's one reason why we keep losing in the playoffs. That's the defense. And McDermott's a defensive guru, as you said. Well, you didn't say, but you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bean is a guy that gets the talent, whether that's true or not. That's not the point right now. The point is, where is the talent? Where is the scheme? Where is the philosophy?
Right.
Because you keep losing. You keep losing when it matters most. And you keep losing in obvious ways. So to me, I'm thinking they need to look at that defense, especially last night with the depth. Because if somebody goes down, forget Josh Allen, if somebody goes down on that defense, we're cooked. We're cooked. And people, you have to look at you. And I'm jumping around right now, but I want to give my man Landon Jackson some shine, because he looked a world better yesterday than he did in week 1. He was.
Wait, who is this? I'm sorry.
Landon Jackson.
Okay.
He was flushing. He flushed out Bagent a bunch of times, but you know what's supposed to happen when you flush Bagent out? Deion Walker's supposed to step up.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Sanders supposed to step up. Dwayne Carter's supposed to step up. But guess what happened? Landon Jackson flushes him out, and there's a big gap with Carter, with Walker's back, right in the gap. Can't make a move. They're stuck. They're stuck on blocks. You can't get off your block. That's your responsibility. He did his job. Hoyt and Landon Jackson are meeting at the quarterback. And you win when he steps up, because your defensive tackles are supposed to be there, but they weren't.
So, okay, this is why we are objective, because it's not easy, right? Because I think the pushback to that would be, and not that this is my pushback at all, but I just like to look at it from both sides. I think the pushback to that would be, well, if nothing was schemed on defense, that means your defensive tackles had no clue what Landon Jackson was going to do at that point. They didn't know that he was going to rush inside and flush Bagent out.
Well, okay, this is my thing. When you play at that level, when you play jazz, right?
Okay,
jazz is.
I know where you're going. Okay.
It's all.
You have a strong understanding for the variables and what could possibly be on the fly.
Right. Because I mean, at the basic level, they say you rush C gap, we'll say. No twist, no nothing like that. And by virtue of that, by me playing D tackle, when I know he's running C gap, that means
that's a great point, bro. If
I don't have a guy pushing my outside shoulder, there's a gap over here.
Yeah.
You have to what's the word? Not innovate, but it's all about playing off the cuff, going up, playing by ear. He's doing that. I got to do this. It's like, that's why I love basketball so much. Junie, you can back me up on this. I know he woke up because I said basketball, but that's why basketball is so great. I didn't. Just stay with me here.
Nah, man, what's going on with you, man?
Stay with me now.
Stay with me now.
But no, when you look at basketball, the pick and roll, Steve Nash, they had a sixth sense. Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash, Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. He always knew, if I throw it somewhere, Sean Kemp is there somewhere. When these are all second line players. They all came in together. They work together in tangent, extremely, like almost exclusively. So they know when he go. I mean, you've played football for how many years? When a guy rushes out and you got a mobile quarterback, you have to be responsible for block shedding. You have to know where the ball is.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's no game plan. So what does that leave you with? Athleticism. Which that shows there isn't any, because when Landon Jackson flushes them out, when Hoyt flushes them out, and you see these guys way back and they're like falling out of the screen because they're too slow.
Right.
I saw a play where TJ Sanders, like it was a play action play. He was his back was to the quarterback. He got blocked, turned around, and pushed that way. How? And it wasn't even a run play. So
Yeah.
when you're talking about playing against these guys who are gonna be number one guards, number one centers, you have to. And like they said about Deion Walker, I think it was on the radio today. Somebody said Deion Walker, he's more of a pass rush guy, a penetrator than he is a gap.
He's not a run
He's
stuffer.
not. So where's our one tech? Zion Logue?
Right. That and DQ. That's all
DQ
we got.
and Zion Logue. That's all you got. Or else you're just gonna surrender the middle and hope for the best of the outside.
Yeah.
But you don't have a pass rusher. So that's my thing. You don't have a pass rusher, and your back five aren't sticking with their man long enough for you to get to the quarterback. Where are you?
Right.
You gotta have one or the other.
Yeah. So
Tigers are one tech. Did you see the game yesterday?
Look. Let me get to this one first.
McFlurries.
You're right. I think he calls his blitz packages McFlurries. The blitzing that we saw in this game, it and again, I keep trying to temper this with they weren't game planning, but a blitz in any circumstance, I'm sorry, a blitz in any circumstance should work at least once. None of them got home, not one. And I get that we probably haven't seen this team blitz very much at all in the preseason, let alone the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But they had 5-6 different blitzes in this game,
right?
And none of them got home,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And now this is backups versus backups. Somebody's supposed to make a mistake there for the Bears, but nobody did, right? So one of two things has to be happening in that instance for us to see what we saw. Either A, and it could be both at the same time. Either A, the Bears team in general is that disciplined under Ben Johnson, because as it's being reported, he's been like a drill sergeant with these guys, making sure that everybody is sticking to their responsibility. So either they're that disciplined, or the Bills are just that bad at blitzing, and it was just being called at random out there to see what happens because they wanted some kind of a spark. Right. Now, again, like I said, both things could be true at the same time, but it still doesn't fix the fact that you blitzed 6 times and didn't get home once.
It was funny. Spin corrected you. You said Kai Blitz got to the quarterback, his head bounced off his chest.
Who?
Codrington. He did. But when he tried to pull him down, he couldn't get him down. He just tossed it. So I think what A is saying is you're right, because Hamlin even got in one time, and I was going to say, Roy, Hamlin got in and he flushed him out. Yeah, he flushed him out. But yeah, so I mean, what he's saying is that it didn't yield a sack. That's basically what he's saying.
And that's what blitzes are designed to do.
Yep.
Get your quarterback down. I mean, that again, the reason I'm thinking get the quarterback down, because I didn't, again, being objective, somebody can easily say, well, they created pressure and this team is about turnovers.
No, you can't, because they didn't create pressure. You know who did?
Who?
Michael Hoyt. He had 5 pressures. He had 5 pressures. I think the next closest was like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
He was a man tout. Again, I think this dude is certified. I'm almost getting to the point where I'm glad we got him 3 years.
Or he's just all the way roided.
I know. I don't want to Sean Merriman though.
I know.
Oh my God! Don't get me so excited and then Sean Merriman.
D says Keyshawn mentioned last week that y'all blitzed 14 times and didn't get home that game.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, look,
and those were starters.
That part right there. So I mean, the idea of a blitz is to get the quarterback down, and the head coach and the GM said we want to be able to affect the passer, right? You want to get that guy down on the ground, is the way they put it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Sean said last week, if I'm not mistaken. It's about getting the guy on the ground. So when you're thinking about the way that they're building this defensive line, first and foremost, most teams don't bring 12 defensive linemen to a game.
Right.
Most do not.
Right.
Right? They'll have their 4 starters. They may have
maybe two
defensive tackles, maybe 2, they might go with 8 on the defensive line. We're bringing 12 strong most years. An extra defensive line we're carrying with us. Right? So that in itself is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? For you to employ this many defensive linemen and for them to not be or not result in being the focal point of your defense is mind-boggling.
Right.
And on top of that, you're building the defensive line the opposite way. You got your best run defenders on the outside at defensive end, and the guys that get run over. I can't tell you how many times TJ Sanders got mauled in the run game.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching both of these super talented, super athletic defensive tackles that everybody thinks is going to solve the problem this year get destroyed by backups.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, and that's why I was through the roof in a negative way when we drafted both of those guys. One of the two. Give me one of the two. Jeremiah Caldwell, you could have drafted him out of Oregon. You could have drafted CJ West. You could have drafted Yaya Black.
Series of
flipping
football around, flipping the tables around because of the draft.
Who? Me?
And you.
Oh, you. I flipped a lot of things during the draft.
You did too, bro.
I mean, it was a mix of just
brain cells when those guys got drafted.
I did.
It was a show, man.
I did. I mean, it was in Kev. Yeah, he said, "Have you ever heard about the other roided DT?" No, because I don't care about him.
Of course you don't.
I have zero care about Ogunjobi. He looks like a nice guy on the side. Whatever. He's smiling, laughing with TJ Sanders. Don't care. How about Birch from Oregon? I mean, I don't know how he's doing. I got to look at how he's doing. I'm not sure exactly what he's done so far. I wasn't as high on him as everybody else, but I mean, he's a quality player. But like I said, if you're going to get TJ Sanders, you have to get a one tech, and I don't think you should have traded up 14 selections to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
You could have got Omar Norman-Lott, who's doing just fine. You could have got you could have traded up if you wanted in the first round and tried your hand at Walter Nolan or somebody like that. But I mean, it's water under the bridge. But what we're doing right now is we're trying to figure out the construct. You know, who's that nasty guy? We're gonna keep relying on Daquan Jones. He's 32 years old, 30, whatever. Everybody wants him out here anyway. Cut him for who? I'm gonna say Zion Logue again. He was on the practice squad last year. Is he your starter? Because it can't be Walker, it can't be Sanders. But Ed Oliver needs that presence there.
They killed him though last year. They were talking about how trash he was. Zion Logue.
Because what it is people don't understand what a one tech does.
Right.
He stands there and leans on people.
That's it.
Literally, that's it. He leans on you. Snap. That's it. That's all you get. You know,
just push forward a little bit.
Just lean forward. Could you just lean forward just a little bit? Somebody in here said something. Somebody here said something about Hamlin. Somebody was holding on to his feet. Quick stand. And he was in there. You know how in baseball there's a pop fly, like I got it, and then the dude just jumped over him. And then you got Cole Bishop trying to do his thing, but he's too slow.
On the Zacchaeus run. Yeah.
Freaking Illumide Zacchaeus. Who?
Yeah.
Who against the guy that's supposed to be your starter?
Ex-Falcons receiver. Yeah.
I mean, I know him, but I'm like, who? This is not Roma Dunze. This is not Marvin Harrison. This is Illumide Zacchaeus.
You can't even get his name right. That's how much it doesn't matter.
I said it two different ways and whatever. Olu. This is not Olu. But
how you pronounce his name?
Olu.
No, it's Olamide. Yeah, I think it's Olamide.
Probably
Zacchaeus.
not. I don't know.
Right, yeah, you're right. Definitely right. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking
about.
Right,
Olu. It doesn't matter. He's not here. We're not gonna see him again. But
that come in the league, they just have outrageous names you can't pronounce.
I mean,
there's a couple of them.
Yeah,
just say how you think it would sound.
That's what I do.
There's a few coming in next year. It should be very interesting.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it.
It's okay. We're gonna figure this out. But no, I digress. You know, when you're talking about the talent we have on this team, it's time in week 3. I hope Hancock is not old Lou like old Shep. There you go. It's time to figure out who your starters are. You don't need offensive play, but you need your defense, which would be you need to see an iteration of the starters that's going to be coming against Baltimore. They got to get on the field at some point because this ain't it. This ain't it.
No, Spin. We are not on the Fire Babbage train.
Okay, you got to keep your facts straight. We didn't get there yet. I wouldn't. No.
Damn. Okay. Do you want to talk about that, bro?
Well, no, you got it. It just hit me because I'm like, no, I'm not on the Fire Babbage because I don't know what Babbage is. Babbage is McDermott. Babbage is the same iteration as Frazier, as McDermott, as the guy that we hired when we fired Babbage. I mean, it's you can ask Tommy, who do you want, but it doesn't matter because that guy's going to be McDermott too. It does. It really just doesn't matter. It could be the Nielsen guy. It could be anybody because they're going to run the same defense. It doesn't matter who you bring in as a draft pick. It doesn't matter what you do in free agency. It's going to be the same defense, the same kind of player. So I've resigned to the fact that what we see is what we're going to get.
Yep. Vu, there's a very weird thing that happens here in Buffalo, and this is mostly true. It's not 100% true. But most people that live in Buffalo, like in the actual city, right? Because that's the other part that frustrates me about Buffalo Joe. He went to Depew High School. He's from Lackawanna. He ain't from Buffalo.
Right.
Like, stop calling him Buffalo Joe. He's not from here, right? It's like some dude who played in Lockport coming here and being named Buffalo Pete or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. He's not from here. But folks that live in Buffalo. Right. And we grew up in Buffalo. We don't live in Buffalo now. Mm-hmm. But growing up in Buffalo, people who live in Buffalo, like we don't like what happens here. We don't like the wool that's pulled over most people's eyes here when it comes to keep Buffalo a secret and all these other things that lead to our national sports teams looking like idiots on national TV. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look. Very few people in the nation right now. Let's say fans. I'm not going to say media people because media people probably know better, like we know better.
Right.
The Bills are going to be a good team during the regular season, but most fans are looking at this game and they're saying, "Damn, Buffalo sucks."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what the heck can we say? Without looking stupid. Right. You know what I'm saying? If we try to argue with those people, well, I know we lost by 38 points to the Bears, but our starters weren't in there.
Right.
But y'all backups suck. Whoa, they weren't game planning though. Like, you see how stupid I sound?
Yeah.
That's the frustration of it all is most times 13 seconds, the loss last year, like all these big time losses that we've had on national stage, losing to Minnesota the way we did, fumbling in the end zone, like all these different things that happened to us, we look so stupid.
Right.
And for what? For what? To be second place every single seat like that? That's where I think the frustration comes from, and that's where I think the mentality of I refuse to accept any of this BS anymore comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then what ends up happening is all the people that tailgate and all that kind of stuff, they live on the outskirts of the city. They live in the West Senecas and the Orchard Parks and the Lackawannas and the you know what I'm saying? They live in all these ancillary areas and they go to the stadium and they say, "Oh, you being too negative. You this and then our team is great."
Right.
Yeah, we know that, but did you see what people are saying about us on social media?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that trigger if you love the city of Buffalo, if you love Buffalo, period. Even outskirts, it's, my thing is like we're a mid-level city, but we don't have a train that runs anywhere that makes any sense. We don't have this great infrastructure. We don't have. We were driving down. Where were we down yesterday? We were downtown. No, this had to be on Saturday after the Hispanic Heritage Festival parade.
Okay.
I'm gonna say over by what is the convention center? That's was that Washington?
Who?
Convention Center with Statler Tower. What is that?
Oh no, that's Franklin.
Franklin. Okay, I'm right. I'm like, yo, just like it gives you the Toronto look. Like if you're walking down Yonge Street in Toronto, but there's no people, there's no stuff. Right. But like looking down, you're like, I can see it. I can see where it should be bustling. I can see where it should be packed to the gills. But we don't have anything to do,
right?
Because nobody wants to put nothing there because somebody's gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
And So when people disrespect this, oh, you ain't got nothing to do, you ain't got this, y'all small, y'all just everybody. Shut up.
To be clear, what Keyshawn's talking about is most of our homeless population is downtown. So our public library is basically the summertime house for most of them. They all get their sleeping bags and they go sleep under the little underpass there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of, sleep around the downtown area.
Yeah.
Where the spot where they hold Thursday in the Square, mad homeless people hanging out there. Down near City Hall, there's a few buildings, like they're and again, nothing against homeless people, but that part of the reason why people don't just hang out randomly downtown is because they're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
It's
not that you should fear,
downtown.
huh?
It's chaotic.
Well, yeah, I worked down there for 6 years. I worked with homeless people for 6 years. So like most of the people I see down there, I know who they are. So I'm not afraid to walk around down there. You know what I'm saying? And I think most people who kind of grew up in the city wouldn't be. You're used to it. You know what I'm saying? And these people aren't going to bother you.
No,
you know what I mean?
He's going to ask you for some spirit change.
Right.
My brother.
You tell them no and you keep moving, right? It's no big deal.
Can I trouble you for a sandwich? Yeah, sure. Whatever. What you want on that? Ketchup? Okay, got you. But no, I think, and the thing, the other fan that irks me is the one that says, you guys must not have been around for the drought. What's that mean? Because guess what? For me, you could completely disagree, but this is more infuriating to me than the drought, because we knew we sucked then. We knew we didn't have a quarterback then. We knew we didn't have a coach then, but now we got a mainstay. When's the last time we had a coach for 9 years? Marv Levy?
Yeah.
When's the last time we had a GM this long?
Marv Levy?
Yeah.
Bill Polian.
So my thing is like, okay, we were around for that, but it's a whole different feel because we knew. Now we're so close. It's like all you need is this. All you need is that. But they keep giving us Bosa's. They keep giving us, I'm not going to say Hoyt anymore. No, he can stay. Ogunjobi's. They keep giving us, even Trey Whites, people like that. They give us, they re-sign DeMar Hamlin and put them as a miscast as a free safety. They're doing all these things and it's ammunition. It's all this ammunition where you're supposed to say, well, I got to defend them or they all are trash. There's no in the middle. There's no way because you look at the comments and it shows them. They're like, yo, why are you guys negative? We're not trying to be negative. We're just talking. Right. We're just telling you what it is and we're reading the comments and it is what it is. But
I mean, if anything, like we were trying to talk about the game and people coming in here, Hamlin is ass.
Right. Like, whoa, we didn't even say that.
Right. Cole Bishop is ass.
Right,
like what he done said
Jesus, I'm trying to tell you where they could be. And you know what got me? This is what got me because this is where the disconnect is. They keep bringing in all these high-priced free agents on defense that are over the hill. But you know what Bean said? I don't know if you heard his speech, his interview with Olsen and the other guy. He said that the offense is so good, we can weather the youth movement on defense. The offense is so good, we can weather the youth movement on defense.
Yeah.
But will you? No, because you got Bosa again.
Yeah.
You got Ogunjobi again. You're taking snaps away from youth. You got, what are you going to do? You're going to bring in a safety, Justin Simmons. You're taking away from youth. You're taking away from money. You're taking away from things that you could use to build your team. They need reps. They need the reps. They need the mental reps. They got to have the offseason. They got to get through this. If the offense is that good, guess what? Put Sanders out there. Put Walker out there in the rotation. Put Ed Oliver. And you got to cater to Ed Oliver because everybody's going to come about how bad Ed Oliver is again. How he's not doing anything. Why has he only had 3 sacks last year? Because he's getting double teamed. And TJ Sanders told you that when they asked him about how he felt like playing with Ed Oliver. Yeah. He said, I'm going to be good because the whole line is going to shift his way. That tells you he's impacting the game, but people don't see that with their naked eye, though. They don't see it with their naked eye.
That's why they want to trade him so much.
That's why they want to trade him.
He don't do nothing.
He don't do nothing.
$84 million. He don't do nothing.
But it's just lunacy. It really is lunacy. When you know how this football player impacts that football player, this position impacts that position, it makes more sense. If you watch the All-22 and you see
there it is. There it is.
Well, he's the one I asked whose ass we on this time. So, but no, if you look at the All-22, you're wondering why is our $84 million pass rushing defensive tackle always double teamed? Okay, good. So you got TJ Sanders now, but where's the linebacker that's supposed to clean up the mess that they leave?
Right.
Because Bernard ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Edmonds wasn't going to do that. You need that. And that when you look at how you build your line, you have to figure out who are your mainstays. That's why I always ask, who's your cornerstone? Because that's who you build this defense around, your cornerstone. And they haven't identified it yet. You say Benford, cool. Which means if Benford's going to be a press man or a zone guy, you got to get faster on the edge.
Yeah.
You know, if you want Ed Oliver to pass rush, you got to get those defensive those linebackers that are there that can shed blocks and get the clean up what Ed Oliver leaves for them.
Yep.
They don't do that. It's like on one end they want to be aggressive, they say, but at the same time they're too afraid to let these guys play. Your athletes are trying to play, but you can't let them play because you're afraid. There's gonna be missteps. There's gonna be big plays given up. But there's going to be big plays made when you get the guys that can pin their ears back and go.
That's more ego related than anything else. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I hate to kind of, get psychological about it with our head coach, but unfortunately, this is a game that deals with ego a lot.
Yeah.
It is the ego and the will of these men that push them to make it this far, to make it to the highest level of professional sports. And while that is a benefit to them, at times, if left unchecked, it can look like this, where it's a detriment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think Sean McDermott's ego is not necessarily a blatant arrogance. It's more of a, I don't want to look bad in any way, so I am not going to give any singular player a chance to make me or my GM that I chose look bad at all. I'd rather keep him off the field and say he's still developing, Kaiir Elam,
mm-hmm.
than to put him on the field and make him and let him make us look bad. Right. The reason that you just throw that guy out there and didn't even try to go get anybody else just in case Benford got hurt. Like, the Bills didn't try to go get somebody else to compete with Elam, to push him, to take that spot in case Elam couldn't do it, to come in case Benford got hurt. They didn't try to do that at all. They threw they threw Kaiir Elam out there in the AFC Championship game, and the benefit of that after the fact was everybody in this city and everybody who dons the Bills red, white, and blue looked at that game and said, I'm fine with Kaiir Elam leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Bills wanted. The Bills didn't ever want that man leaving the building and people being pissed off at the Bills for either A, having drafted him in the first place, or B, not having developed him enough and taught him well enough to be a good player in this scheme. That was the worry. That's why you stash that guy for 4 years and don't let him see the playing field in regular season games consistently. It's all ego. That's what it comes down to. And for our head coach to continue to be allowed to operate in this way, I mean, everything that has happened to us so far, we deserve it. We deserve it because we haven't done anything about it. Right? It's the same as being in any relationship. Whether it's the relationship of being a worker at a job that doesn't treat you right or makes promises that they don't keep. Like, I had my last job before I got into entrepreneurship,
mm-hmm.
straight up told me $40K. It's a director's position, but it's a management title, so you'll have the same responsibility. $40K. Don't ask for a raise. They straight up told me this. Don't ask for a raise. And what did my stupid behind do? I still asked for a raise 3 straight years in a row.
And then it made you mad when they said, no, like, didn't we just tell you? We ain't doing it.
Right. That was my fault. But I had it in my mind. I'll just be so good they can't resist giving me a raise. Right. And whatever, that's whatever. But my point is, that's an example of being in a particular relationship where whatever you endure at that point, you accepted the deal.
Right.
You didn't do anything to change it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got out. I was done taking that from 9 to 5s.
Right.
I'm done taking it from the Bills. I want to see change. I would love to see what Terry Gray could do as a GM. I would love to see what Joe Brady could do as our head coach. Like, those are 2 names here.
Right.
You don't have to change anything at all. all. Just switch the names on the doors.
Right.
And have security walk a couple of guys out. That's it.
Yeah. And Cato, no, John Butler actually was a GM for 8 years. So close.
Yeah.
Very close. And you know, I forget, honestly, I did forget about him, but you know, it's 9 years. It's time to change something. Like, okay. I'm gonna stop saying let's not change a person, let's just change the thought. They're not changing the way they think.
That's true.
They're not gonna change. So by virtue of that, yes, we have to make decisions here. As much as I like the people that we have to figure it out and say, you know what, I got it now. They're not, because as you say, 17, but I'm gonna double down. You know, they did draft offensive line without Connor McGovern and David Edwards. They did draft, you know, Kincaid and not Kincaid, Knox and Shakir. So they're like, yeah, what else do you want from us? But it's fun. It's very ironic that the same day that this dude unloaded on a radio station, what the hell are you bitching for? You signed a guy that can't catch the ball. You signed a guy that doesn't know how to run a stem and gets you tight end and hung out to dry. You signed a guy that's a non-factor, and that was your FU to them. That was the FU.
That's
him.
right. That's right.
I mean, it was bad when you watch the game and everything was behind every wide receiver. Mike White threw everything behind, and he put some mustard on it behind. Josh Palmer's ball was over here somewhere as he's going that way. And I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way this guy can be a starter. There's no way this guy can make this team. Please don't let this guy make the team. And that's exactly what I asked for. I asked for Mike White to be the starter this week because I wanted to see what he could do, you know, with that lineup. Trubisky didn't look a ton better, but had it not been for that Frank Gore fumble, they might have scored on that drive. They might have finally scored, but it wasn't to be. You got the peanut punch. And next thing you know, game, well, it was already over, but game is flipped again.
Yeah. Vu says, nah, homie, Elam been ass, still ass, always gonna be ass. I mean, look at what the kid is doing in Cowboys practice, man.
Picking up babies.
Man, I saw a video like maybe a week ago of him playing deep man coverage on a go route and picking the ball off. Yep. And he was playing under the route. Mm-hmm. Under the route, and he had enough speed to stay with the guy step for step and pick the ball off before it could get to the receiver. Yep. Like the kid can play. It's not. It was what he was taught and what he was expected to do in a scheme that's not designed for his skill set. Yep. We gotta again the oversimplification. Elam is ass. Well, are we taking a second to understand why he's ass? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just a question. Like,
the philosophy of being ass.
Right. There's levels to ass. You know.
All right now. All right. Just
I almost made him spit his drink out.
I'm putting on my nose.
Just stick with the topic now, please.
You just stick to the topic. But no.
All right. So Lynn says, I'm not reading that.
Of course you're not.
Sal says, actually, I wanted to read this other comment that Sal put in there earlier because I really appreciated it and I did not know this. Sal says, remember downtown Buffalo thriving in very old. Was a usher in 1969. Midnight shows downtown. Eastside gang fights in the theaters drove people to the suburbs. That's the facts. I always wondered what pushed people out of the city. Mm-hmm. And now I know. So thank you so much for that, Sal, because I didn't know. I grew up on the west side in the Lakeview projects before they got torn down, but like my uncles were, dealing in that neighborhood. They were very well known. My uncle used to, have a brand new car every, 2 weeks. It seemed like, you know what I mean? It'd be, a month later and he have a whole brand new car. And when I say brand new car, I mean like muscle car, like with the racing rims, the paint job, the racing stripes, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that at the same time I'm watching all this cool stuff happen. There's a bunch of gangs fighting over around the way, making people feel like it's unsafe to live here. So that was kind of cool for me to learn that. Thank you, Sal. Where we at? Hey, Cato, yeah, we from the same hood, bro, for sure.
Cato's at the Mad. There's another one. I think it's hilarious. I'm not going to say it on here, but my mom knows exactly what I'm, because every time she says it, I just start laughing. I just started laughing. I can't do it. But they had the Manhattan Lovers. I know that one. That was one. Yeah, I want to, but I'm not going to. Let's change the subject because I'm just going to come out and.
I got you.
But
right,
yeah, let's see. Somebody said LaVisca better make the team, or I'm heartbroken. LaVisca, Codrington. I think Codrington's on. I didn't realize he was facing Dunze, and he wasn't horrible, but he's not a cornerback I need right now. They had him playing man. I don't know what he looks like in end zone, and I don't want to go down that road again. LaVisca was a good Kate return man. LaVisca, if you get him a quarterback that'll put the ball on him, they threw the ball 3 times to him and nowhere near him anytime. One fell out of bounds, one was like way over his head, and then the other one I don't remember. But I think his special teams prowess might get him on there. Yeah, I just nope. So that's not the one. That's not the one. But yeah, no, I think I really am starting to take a shine to Christian Wilkerson. That's starting to be my guy. That was my afterthought because he's older. I think he's like 27 or something like that. But he's pretty good. And I can see what he could bring to the table.
Yeah, Cato. So that new bridge is dope. I'm so excited to see everything that they're doing with that waterfront LaSalle Park over there.
I want to see the park.
Yeah, because I mean this is the second time they'll be redoing it. You know what I mean? They did some curb work and they kind of made a like the driving path better, with some speed bumps and stuff in there. But
bumps or humps?
Yeah, I don't know the difference. But the little amphitheater thing that they had there that was there for years, they never did anything with that. But I remember back in my day when I lived over there when I was growing up, that was the spot. Yeah. You go there for concerts. They used to have massive concerts over there. You know what I'm saying?
You remember Carabana?
Yeah, that's where they
ended there and they had the Carabana, the concerts, steel drums, all that stuff up there.
Yep.
They had the Rick James Funk Fest over there, which I used to like going to.
I never knew who any of these people were. Because my mom and my aunts always took me up there, and I loved it because I could play in the playground.
Yeah,
it was like the biggest playground I'd ever seen.
Playground with the rollers, with the red rollers.
Yeah. Yep, everything was metal back then.
Yeah,
too.
That slide. Oh,
you was burning everything on the way down, bro. Everything.
Do it again.
Yep. You'd be lucky to come up with clothes after that. All right, so the last thing I want to get to is the
Steve, yes, kind of, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
What did he say?
He said, "Doesn't Wilkinson play like the way we expected Sammy Watkins to play?" That's what I thought. Watching him.
He does. Yes, he does. Okay, so now, what do you think? What do you think Hard Knocks is gonna do with this game, right? Because
we'll play Hard Knocks. Okay.
What do you think Hard Knocks is gonna do with this game? Because they did a little bit in terms of like just storyline. They didn't focus on the game so much because obviously the Bills lost, and I think this game was much worse. But this is one of those things where, again, not only was this a national TV game, but this is going on national a national streaming service, I could say, a global streaming service, where literally everybody in the world is going to know that we got blown out by 38 points.
I don't know. I feel like they might actually do more with the scrimmage from Friday. The joint practice.
Okay.
I think they'll focus on that because it seems like they always do. Remember when DeAndre Hopkins was a rookie and they had that joint practice and he fought what's the guy's name? The cornerback from Washington. I was talking all that mess to him and then he crossed him up, twisted his ankle. They focus on that kind of stuff that's behind the scenes. I think the game they might use a sound bite, like a mic'd up kind of deal where I'm
sorry.
No, it's all right. Okay.
The Bills will bleach the film.
Probably. That sounds about right. Now I'm thinking about it though. Are we sure that Ben Johnson wasn't game planning?
No, he was.
McDermott didn't get the memo.
Well, my assumption is that Sean didn't care, and I think that's why the challenge flag bothered me so much.
Okay. I'm going to get back to your point, but I had another question about the game when I was thinking about isn't this a great game, a great practice against that kind of innovative mind, to see how your defensive scheme stacks up to the new age, and we saw it get burned, by the starter, the backup, and whoever that last dude
and by
was.
the Lions last year.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's okay. So when are we going to say our scheme is antiquated? We got to do something about this, because we've seen the new age destroy us with less than guys. They're not even thinking about keeping, and we need to figure out how to combat that somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to your Hard Knocks point. I think they're gonna. Let's see. It was in Chicago. It's our hard. What would they do? I don't even know. What do you think they'll do?
I think they're gonna follow the rookies in Chicago. I think this game is going to be about the rookies, because it was all about the young players, the entire game. You know what I'm saying? So I think this will be the game where they try to follow a lot of the younger guys, because they followed Hamlin, they followed Trey White, they followed Benford, they followed Josh. You know what I'm saying? They followed the vets, right? And I think the kind of lead up to cut day is getting closer and closer. So you want to start that build up of the storyline of, these are the guys that are, on the bubble. These are the guys that are in, tenuous circumstances right now. This is, the biggest storyline going into next week, really.
Yeah. You can't do anything with Max Harrison. There's really nothing to do with him because he's hurt. He's just now starting to walk again. TJ Sanders, he's not going to give you a sound bite.
The corner battle, Daquan Hardy, Dorian Strong.
You could do that. Landon Jackson for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you think anybody would pick him up off the practice squad?
Landon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong, because I was wrong about Daquan Hardy. I thought he was going to be gone based on how he played last year, but he stuck around.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think.
Well, that's because they took the other guy, Kenai Lovely.
Right. Yeah. I do think that Landon Jackson might be the size, the maturity level, the technique needs refinement slightly, but I think Landon Jackson would do well around Hoyt and Rousseau. I really do, and that's not what you want from the guy playing opposite. Whoever it's going to be is the same exact player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I always said, and I think Tommy said he doesn't see the Rousseau in Landon Jackson, but I still do. I see a slightly faster version, but I think he's going to be his claim to fame is going to be hurries and pressures as opposed to sacks. I think he's gonna get long. He's gonna have his hands up. He's gonna try to get to the quarterback. He's gonna try a speed move every once in a while, but his claim to fame is gonna be flushing the quarterback out of the pocket,
right,
and relying on somebody else to finish the job.
I got a name for you when it comes to Landon Jackson that I think most people will agree with when they hear. We had a player who wore number 94 by the name of Aaron Schobel, and he was not a bendy guy at all, but he had a slight burst off the line. He had good hands, and he had, he had a bunch of good counter moves. He was a power rusher, but he would still come up with, anywhere between 9 to 12 sacks a season. You know what I'm saying? Pretty good pass rusher. And for a drought team, he was our best pass rusher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Kev says he's a younger Epinesa. I don't see that. Epinesa at Iowa, yeah, but I think Epinesa has more twitch than Landon Jackson does. I do.
Really?
I do. Epinesa surprised me. He really did. Watching him after watching, Bosa, especially when you don't know it was 57 versus 90, 97, whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, wow, Bosa, that's a quick. Oh, wait, that's 5'7". Never mind. Or and that's kind of, Kevin said Iowa version. Yeah. I think Epinesa lost the weight and got twitchier. And he looks better than what most people give him credit for when it comes to pass rush. So I think he's probably our best pass rusher right now.
Did you give him another contract after this?
No. No. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Did you give him another contract? Nah, I'm good.
I'm going to the college and ranks and seeing what I can do. Because
you already got to deal with Rousseau. I mean,
yeah, I'm still searching for that Mike Green, that kind of pass rusher. I want that guy who
that Shamar Stewart.
no.
That's sort of my real quick.
Yo, the eyes locked on, bro. He's firing lasers immediately.
No, Shamar. No Tranderson. None of that.
Why not?
Shamar Stewart, the guy who caused a big disruption at his practice for touching Joe Burrow. That was great.
Yeah, he don't care.
He doesn't care. He stumbled right into him, and he was like, "What'd I do? He should have got out of my way." If Bishop is a bust, Carter's a bust, do we have another Ed Oliver draft? Ed Oliver draft.
If Bishop and Carter is a bust, no. I think if they do end up getting rid of Ed Oliver, I think Sean is going to think he's got his 2 defensive tackles already in Walker and Sanders. To be perfectly honest, I think. Look. The advanced analytics right now are telling teams that the one tech has lost almost all of its value in 4-3 defenses, to be specific. Okay, so that's why you're seeing this. Excuse me. That's why you're seeing this shift in the NFL to the more of the pass rushing defensive tackle. But I think the smart thing that other teams do is they go find a guy kind of like a Marcus Stroud, where he's a good pass rusher, but he's an even better run stuffer. You know what I'm saying? So that you can kind of get both. And that's a guy that you can keep on the field all the time. And then what you do is you just put another bigger guy next to him. And then let Marcus Stroud be your 5 tech, basically. You know what I'm saying? A guy that can do both and a guy that can go get the quarterback if you need him to. And I'm talking about early on in his career, not when he was here.
Even when he was here, he was dynamic. You know, He did numbers like this. That's the thing. When people think about what a D tackle does, they're like, he didn't get sacked. He still did, but he impacted the game, like you said. You know, and at 3, what was he, 6'6", 320 or something like that?
6'6", 3. I think it was just 310 though. I don't think
310. Okay. All right, so I gained a little too much to try to be like him. All right, never mind. But yeah, the thing about Stroud was he was an anchor, and you weren't rushing against him. If you look at the numbers for yesterday, I think the advanced stats on Sanders allowed almost 3 yards before tackle, and Walker had, I think, 4 yards before tackle. In contrast that with the edge guys that have to get home. Landon Jackson was 2.5 and Michael Witt was 2.7 yards before tackle. So that doesn't sound like much. It doesn't, like, what does that even mean? It means that they're running right at you and you're not pushing the line back into the running back. You're probably you're hitting him and he's falling forward. You're ankle tackling him, something like that. That's not what you want somebody that's your defensive tackle to do, especially when your linebackers behind them are dropping back in coverage, because they have to turn around. It's just all Buffalo Joe. They turn around, they get lost, and now there's a big game right up the gut.
Yeah. Lynn says, Aramis, should Buffalo just have an AI run next year's NFL draft? Look, if we had a large language model that was designed after Terry Gray, sure, I would take that. I would take that all day long. But I mean, if it's just if it's just Chat GPT, I mean, they're going to do the same thing the Bills have been doing, just going off the analytics. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that's what I guess what I'm trying to state as the problem, probably the cause of a lot of the ailments that we have as a team right now is this focus on the black and white of the advanced analytics. You know what I'm saying? The advanced analytics say that you need pass rushing defensive tackles. Okay, well then that's what we're gonna get. You know, everything else be damned, we're gonna get pass rushing defensive tackles and run stuffing defensive ends, because the analytics say that the plays that are run to the outside are more dangerous than runs that are designed to go up the gut.
Yeah, that's backwards. But I mean, to look at this even further, no, I don't think even though Cole Bishop and Dwayne Carter blessed out.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't think that I tried.
No, check this out.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
Keep your cool, bro. Just be careful with the setup.
Yes.
Do not smash the setup, bro.
Yes. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I got the button ready. I got the button ready.
Tony, I'm not making this face because that was something stupid to say. I'm making this face because I said the exact same thing. I said the exact same thing. If you watch the show, if you watch back to the offseason last year, I mentioned Cam Kinchins. That was the guy I said. That was the one I said. And I wanted Cameron Curl. I wanted these guys that stupid me could play free safety. I wanted these guys, Malachi Starks. I wanted these guys, Makuba. I wanted these guys, Xavier Watts, that can play free safety, that can go get the ball. But instead, we got this.
Oh, dang, bro, shake the camera so far.
I shook it. I don't even care.
He's shaking the camera. He's not even focusing on him.
Let him finish.
I know.
I can't even say let him cook because I don't want to. This is BS because we have to sit here and watch. We have to have a whole 2-hour show about DeMar Hamlin, Cole Bishop, Taylor Rapp. And then we got one guy who is shown that he can play safety who hurt his shoulder because you put him at nickel. That dude should be with the starters now. Pull him.
Yep.
You're down 38-0. We've seen all we need to see out of this dude. He's your best safety. Pull him. He don't play next week. And then you know what you do next year? Get another one.
Yep.
Because I don't want to know. I don't know anything about Bishop. He's going to get hurt probably. I don't know anything else about Rapp. I don't care about it because guess what? Rapp shouldn't be here.
Bottom line.
Hancock is your blueprint.
Yep.
Get 2 of those and see what they can do. Get you Cam Kinchen, see what he could do. But instead, no. Let's go ahead and pay all this money for all these over-the-hill guys because we don't know how to scout or we don't want to listen to the scouts when they tell us not to do this and that. Because all these guys were there for the taking. All there for the taking. And we said, nah, we're good. Let's trade up 14 picks for TJ Sanders when Omar Norman Lott was right there. Does the same exact thing. Let's trade up for Deion Walker when Jamari Caldwell was right there. He does the exact same thing, only better.
But their attitudes probably weren't that great.
I guess not. I guess not. But see, this is why when I do drafts and I talk about I talk about it out of both sides of my mouth. Because one side, I'm telling you what I want. The other side, I'm telling you what they're gonna do. You notice there's always out 2 sides. It's never right the middle of my mouth because we never come together on anything. This is another thing. Hancock is another revelation. Oh Lord, but guess what? A late draft pick. Who's in charge of drafting the late draft picks? The freaking scouts.
The scouts.
When will you learn? Let these people do their jobs.
Yep.
Stop with the ego trips. They know what they're doing.
That's it.
I think Tony knew how to get me, I think, somehow. Tony's like, yes, excellent.
Right. Mr. Smithers over here.
Right.
Tony came in at the last minute.
Like, oh, I can liven this dude.
Tony's like, everybody back up.
Watch this.
I got
Spin,
this.
hold my beer.
Let me.
Yep. Oh my gosh. All right. Any last thoughts on the game before we get out of here?
We talked about
go nuts, bro. I got time.
I know. Yeah. We talked about Bean. We talked about McDermott. We talked about we had something else. I think. What was it? Oh yeah. He said. They asked him. They said, "So, do you think the effort was lacking in the game? Do you think it was?" He's like, "No, it ain't effort." He said, and when he says it's not effort after getting blown out 38-0, what's that? That's gonna damn me, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because if it's not effort, that means we ain't got talent. And he said it. It's not effort. He didn't say, I got to look at the tape. He said, no, that ain't it. So he said, it can't all be about scheme. He said, funny. It was.
It was very good.
For a second, look at it.
It was very good.
Did you think about me, Steve?
We finally got a great punter, bro.
Did you think about me, Steve? Yes. Oh, Dank, don't do it. Dank did it. He said Hancock's too small. No.
Oh, dang,
No, we're
come
not
on.
doing this. We're not doing this.
Yo, if he cannot wrap up form tackle every single time, bro, he is in trouble.
Forget his instincts.
He
forget
needs
this.
to be a box safety.
Oh man.
That's what people are gonna say.
I know. Let's see. Do I think Savers makes the team? Can't tell. I don't know. I don't think so, but not because of anything I saw. I just think that's coming out of McDermott and Bean side of my mouth. What we've seen. I don't think so.
Yeah.
See, we saw KJ Hamler run the ball, so that means he's toast.
Yeah, that's pretty
done.
much it. I mean, look, my and I wanted to say this about Elijah Moore real quick.
Mhm.
I think what people have been expecting to see from Elijah Moore, you got to understand the way that the Bills have been using him is mostly slot receiver.
Mhm.
And while that was most of his responsibility in college, where he's flourished and where he's looked good in the league has been outside, challenging the feet and the coverage ability of these bigger corners.
Somebody probably told him that then, huh?
I don't even know if that's going to make a difference at this point. I mean, to be perfectly honest, Lindsay, what's up? But that's if you go back and you kind of watch the tape on Elijah Moore, yeah, he can play both. But the Bills have basically put him in a position of, can you come in and be Khalil Shakir's backup for 1 year and $5 million? Look, again, this is another one of those times where there's some ego involved here, because you're operating as if your assessment, right? And Sean McDermott used the word sense when talking about his assessment of the guys that he expected to step up that didn't, right? Mm-hmm. And this was from his press conference last night. But he used the word sense. And that word sense is built around your self, your body's natural primate primitive responses, right? What comes naturally to your body's function for its own safety, for its own development, for its own betterment, right? That's what sense deals with, right? I have 5 of those. And if you're talking about, I didn't sense improvement, or I didn't sense guys stepping up, I mean, it's not about your sense in particular. I almost would have preferred him to say at that point, I got to go watch the tape and I'll get back to you on that. Because that's, again, for real, that's better than I didn't sense that guy stepped up. I mean, if you're going based off your senses, Sean, then you should just say nobody stepped up. Mm-hmm. Just be real and say it if you're going to say it. Yeah. It was a very slick way of saying we didn't play good.
Yeah, I mean, he said, and I quote, he said, it's got to be, he said, it can't be all about scheme. He said, it's got to be who can get off blocks, who can tackle, who can win those one-on-ones. That's where the game starts. He mentioned athleticism. He mentioned, playing. And this is out of his mouth. You can't say it no more clear than that. It's clear.
Yeah.
He's telling you without telling you, our talent isn't as deep as we think. What are you gonna do about it now, though? Because you painted yourself into the corner with these bad contracts, and everybody says these contracts are great, but they're not. It's bad contract, because we should have known things last year, the year before that, that we're still trying to figure out. And now we're paying guys that we're like, well, maybe they can be a backup. Maybe if we do this, you should know that before you re-sign them. And they don't know that. They got lucky with Hoyt, and they said, we got to figure out what to do with him. Put him out there. He's a ball player, evidently. Mm. But the rest of it, I got to see. Like that little boy said, I got to see.
ATL says they should have had that Reese T on the sideline.
They should have had that Reese T on the
sideline. That's about right. I missed this when you put it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Said Shavers will make the team, but White Steve will be our wide receiver 5. Yeah, I mean, look, Sean is proving one thing, and I think it's clear now more than ever. He's picking guys that he can relate to. That's the bottom line. This entire culture, the design of the way these players behave, the design of the expectation of these players all deals with Sean McDermott's ability to relate to them. And I think the Hard Knocks series is the one thing that's probably making that clear more than most, because when you watch it on Hard Knocks and then you watch him in a press conference, he looks a lot more comfortable in a press conference than he does on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I mean, that speech of him coming in and you know, talking about the coach that threw a chair, like, he looked nervous the whole time he's telling that story. And he didn't even really tell the whole story in a way that helped him, like, you know, hit home with it or anything like that. Like, he kind of told the story and then he cut the rest of it short and brought out the point, which was, I got to be consistent for you guys. Well, what does that have to do with a coach that's throwing chairs?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't explain all that, right? And it wasn't like Hard Knocks cut that part out. He did that.
No,
Right. Yeah. So again, just a clear example of there's some awkwardness with him in general as a person.
For sure.
And I think Hard Knocks is not the thing that's making him nervous. I think what's making him nervous, and even Josh Allen nervous, is them trying to hide their awkwardness, right? Them trying to hide what they think or what they believe alienates them from people, right? That's the only reason you change an entire room to fit what you like or what you are.
Yeah, they need to make the show the KJ Hamler show.
It might as well
just
be,
make
bro.
a KJ Hamler show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the comedy relief.
Right.
Sure.
And real quick, is it around to wonder if Gore Jr. is better than Ray? Ray runs always look difficult to me, like pulling teeth. The reason why Ray's runs look difficult to you is because they make him zone run. So
yep.
He had he had 3 carries, 2 were zone runs, 1 was a gap run. He got all 3 yards on that gap run. That's the long and short of it. But no, Frank Gore does look good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pissed when we signed his dad, and I was pissed when he signed his son. But you know,
he doesn't look bad though. Seriously.
No, he actually does. He had 4 catches on 4 targets for 30 yards, and he had I think he had 81 yards total yesterday. So he was a bright spot. He was definitely a bright spot, running hard and doing what he had to do. But the only thing that's better than Ray Davis, or I'm sorry, than Frank Gore, is that Reese T.
Oh, it's by far that Reese T.
It's got to be, because this is what I heard now. Hard Knocks don't know about this, but it's 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. Where else can you get those kind of ingredients?
Nowhere.
It's in the tea. Well, what do I know? I don't even drink tea. See for yourself. Get yourself a case or an individual. Why would you get yourself to the individual? Get yourself a case. You won't be disappointed. Trust me. I put that on my top dollar. Reese T. Click the link in the description below and let them know PPP sent you. He laughs every time. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. The read is great.
That
bro.
lets me know that, like, the way I changed it up, it hits.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they're like, they don't know where he's going with this. Artistic license.
Yep, that's
I
it.
just love the create.
Let it breathe for a second. That way we can not lose what I got to say for the announcements. All right. That should be enough time. Listen, you hear you heard the music. That means we got to jump out the window. Let me say a huge thank you. We got so close to 100 live viewers today. We were at 90. That's like the next level goal for us. Is let's get to 100 live viewers, you know, on our own here. So with that being said, thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. If you could do us a favor, if you want to support the channel in any way, we have a few ways you could do that. The first way is free though. All you got to do is hit that like button. You could also do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And then if you really want this to be a benefit to you, you got to hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling,
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like I announced this on Monday. It is official. The order is in. We are going to be in over 10 Delta Sonic stores and over 70 top stores. Reese T is on the rise. I'm telling you, it's cracking a bottle. It is Lay's potato chips. You can't just have one. I promise you, this is a game changer, okay? Whether you spike it or you just take it straight up, it's the best tasting tea in town. So make sure that you're keeping an eye out for the advertisements from Delta Sonic and Tops. make sure you get you some. If you can't wait and you need some right now, you can go in the description of this video. You can click the link. It's there. All you got to do is tap that bad boy. It'll take you right to the website. You can order by the bottle or you can order by the case. It's up to you. We do local deliveries and we ship. Okay, so there's no excuse why you can't get you some. With that being said, our next show is going to be this coming Friday, 5:30, right? Okay. So if you like what you saw today, if you like what you heard today, you can keep tuning into us every Monday and Friday at 5:30 p.m. Until it's back to 6. It was 6 and it's 5:30. We just keep switching it around because we're having fun with this thing.
Because my job is tyrant.
Right. All right. Everything else you need to know about us is in the description of this video. We got a bunch of links in there. We got links for merch. We got links for other sponsorship that we do with Hi Mike High Tech is our tech guy that handles any repairs with our equipment, does installs, all that. Also, our producer, my oldest son Junie, has his own podcast. It is Basketball Truth and Knowledge on YouTube. He also has a gaming channel that he just started, which is Babyface_Assassin4 on YouTube. That link is also in the description of this video. So you have no reason why you can't get a hold of us. Make sure you tune in on Friday, 5:30 p.m. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
40 keys.
Oh my God.
Oh!
I don't know why it's so far away from me this time. It's in the building. And make sure y'all please come join my live tonight because I'm doing Ghost of Tsushima on YouTube. Please join.
That's a beautiful game too.
That
game looks so good.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have a great night. We out of here. Peace.
Deuces.